It's never easy to win any Dakar. You know, it's 12 days, 10,000 kilometers. Hey guys, I'm Sam Sunderland. I'm from England, in Poole originally, and you are watching 5 Minutes with Fletch.
So, you've recently retired from Dakar, you started in moto. How did you go from moto to Dakar?
Yeah, basically moving to Dubai with my auntie and uncle had a massive role in that, because obviously there's a lot of desert out there, more than England at least, and that was definitely, you know, I can't say I'd be a rally rider if I hadn't have made that switch. When I first moved over there, I was actually riding motocross still, and managed to go over to America and race Loretta's and a couple of nationals in Australia, which was cool. And then, yeah, the first round of the World Rally Championships was Abu Dhabi, and got into that.
So how long were you in Dubai before you did that first rally?
I moved to Dubai in 2009, and then the first rally I did was 2011. So yeah, 2 years.
So in like the span of 2 years, you did Loretta's, some Australian nationals, and a rally.
Yeah, it was actually strange, because I was a motocross guy, let's say, or wanted to be, and wasn't quite fast enough, honestly, and just enjoyed riding and having fun. And I rode a lot in the desert for like fun with my mates and like finding jumps and playing around. And then it just happened, yeah, like I said, that first round of the World Championships was in Abu Dhabi, and the shop that I was riding for said, "Oh, do you want to race the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, let's go for it." So did that and had some pretty good results, and then yeah, had a couple of offers to race rally after that.
So obviously, like you said to me before, you would just go when you first got there. And it was like your auntie said, "Just go ride."
Yeah, like honestly, I think it comes back to when you're a kid, and like you say, you can, you know, nip off on you first get on your BMX, and you can nip off to your mate's house without needing your mum to take you somewhere, and that sort of freedom feeling of like, oh, I'll go where I want now. And riding motocross here in the UK is great, but like you're always quite defined to a track, or even if you go enduro, it's a defined loop. And I remember the first ride I had there in Dubai, we got the bikes out, and they were like, "Yeah, go where you want," and I'm like, "What do you mean go where you want? Like, surely we're supposed to stay, you know, we can't go everywhere." And no, it was really, really cool to have that freedom feeling again of just ride where you want, and sort of fell in love with riding in the desert, really.
So do you think that's what started? Is that what like the first thing you're like, "Oh, I might want to do rally"?
Honestly not. Like the first time, it was just like having some fun with mates. Like we go for desert rides and like find gap jumps, like hitting some jumps and stuff, because there's obviously plenty in the dunes. And they had a local desert racing series in Dubai that I did start racing, and I quite enjoyed that longer format racing rather than the sort of short, intense stuff. And yeah, I kind of slowly transitioned into it, really. It wasn't like one day to the next.
So you've won the Dakar Rally twice. Which was your favourite one to win? Was there like an easier one to win, or were they both quite difficult?
It's never easy to win any Dakar. You know, it's 12 days, 10,000 kilometers, and like there's so many uncontrollables that are out of your hands. So like you try and plan everything, but there's so many things you just can't control. And the first one was really special because it was like for such a long time this big target of like, I really want to win the Dakar, and it was like this pinnacle. So that was really cool. But I did have, like, I led the race from day 5, and it's a 12-day race, and I think at the end I had 25 minutes, so it was more about managing the race. And but yeah, 2022 was like a real dogfight until the last day. And although in the moment it's nerve-wracking and stressful, and like you've got a lot of weight on your shoulders, there's like a whole year's preparation for that one race, there's 30 people there in your team, and you know, it all comes down to that one race. So the second one was really special because it was really like a dogfight until the last day.
But obviously the goal was to win the first one, you did that, and then it's almost like, I've won it, now I've got to go win it again.
Yeah, and it was like you said, like that. Like in my head, I always wanted to win. I mean, I've got huge respect for people that have won championships back after back after back, because to keep that same level of intensity and focus is not easy. But I always, in my head, I always wanted to win 2, because when you win 1, everyone says, "Oh, it's because this guy crashed or this guy did this." When you won 2, you're like, right, It's not luck. It's sort of stamped in. And yeah, once I'd got 2, I kind of felt a bit more at ease. Like I would like to have had that same sort of fire to go for 3, 4, 5, 6, but there's a lot of risk in the Dakar, and I got 2 kids now, and that sort of thing played a lot on my mind. And I lost a few friends, unfortunately, and those things sort of creep into your head step by step. As I guess it's just part of getting older, you know. And 35 now, and yeah.
So, have you got any goals you'd like to accomplish now that you've retired?
Yeah, try and beat Clement Desalle in this next race. No. I've actually trying to work on a car ride with my ex teammate Toby Price, so or maybe another teammate Matthias Walkner, but it's quite difficult to jump into the car world. But I definitely feel safer with a seatbelt on and big cage around me in a car. But yeah, let's see. It's not too much time before Dakar, so see how we go.
So, when you would do Dakar, they're like 9 hours a day you ride, isn't it?
Yeah, it's long. It's really long. Some days longer than others. Like I think the longest day I ever had on the bike was 1,250 kilometers in one day. And if you imagine averaging 100 kilometers an hour, you're still looking at 12 and a half hours. And we don't really average 100 kilometers an hour, so it's a long old day, really long. It's hard for the mental side for sure.
So, for like those first 3, 4 hours, do you feel like it's quite easy to focus? And then once it hits like that 6-hour mark, are you then like?
Yeah, like as the day goes on, and sometimes it's really hot and you're dehydrated, and you know you sort of trying your best to stay focused and on the ball. And the thing is day after day after day for 12 days. Like if it was just one day for 12 hours, it would be hard, but you'd sort of grin and bear it. But it's like a cumulative effect. Like after day 8, 9, 10, you start really, you know, your alarm goes off at 2, 3 a.m. because you get up super early, and you just think to yourself, not again. But I think it kind of adds to the value. Like if you ask a marathon runner at kilometer 35, you having a good time, mate? No, they're suffering like hell and their legs are hurting. But it adds value to like getting the result that you want. And yeah, I sort of really believe in that.
So, if you get out quite far ahead,
Yeah.
when you go out quite far ahead, so if you, like as you said, you led for like 25 minutes, when you knew that on the final day, were you more like ease, were you more relaxed?
Yeah, like on the first win in 17, when I had that 25-minute lead going into the last day, it was quite a short day as well. I only had 60 kilometers, but like it isn't done until it's done. You know, like you still need to complete those 60 kilometers. So I remember having the media like, congratulations, you won. I'm like, hey, don't ask me that. Don't ask me like I'll win when I've won. And it's quite tricky for the brain, you know, like the media sometimes aggravate it. It's like, oh, do you feel nervous about tomorrow? And it's like, well, I didn't until you asked me, but now you've mentioned it, I am quite nervous. But I try and change the word to excited rather than nervous, and then it helps a little bit.
So, like,
not that much.
What's the average speed that you would be doing?
It depends on the stage. Like the dune stages, obviously you don't average that fast because you're constantly up and down dunes. But some of them have been like mental, like 120, 130 kilometers an hour average speed. But I think the majority of, if you take the average over the whole race, it's about 90, 95 kilometers an hour.
So you do 60 kilometers, like 90 kilometers an hour.
You're doing quick maths here. I'm not very good at maths, mate. I missed too many school lessons.
Quick maths I'm good at, but like this type of maths, not so much.
All right, let's change the subject then.
So, how long have you been with Red Bull?
2000, I think 2011, 2012. They've been a mega partner for me, honestly. Like aside from energy drink and all the rest, they're a really good partner in terms of when you're injured. They'll always help you come back. They've got big facilities for rehab, and no, they're great, and I can't say enough good about them. Honestly, they're really good.
Like me and my friends say, they started off as a drink company, then now drink companies almost their side project now. They're like an actual sports company.
Yeah, they are, but I think at the core of it is still like drink a Red Bull and go and send it. And I like that, like especially in Dakar when you wake up 2 a.m. in the morning and you're just like, you know, you can't take a coffee in your pocket, so I'll put one of them in my pocket instead. I need a little boost me up. But no, they're a great partner, and I'm super grateful.
So because obviously with the Dakar Rally, it's times bigger than a normal bike.
Yeah.
But if like your average day's 1,000 kilometers, like a hard day's like 1,000 kilometers, like you said, how many times are you refueling?
So the range of the bike is about 220 kilometers, and then and we have refuels throughout the stage. It's like a mandatory stop for 20 minutes. But like obviously, if you're in the dunes, you consume much more than if you're on like a gravel track. So it's always a bit of a calculation. But luckily, I don't have to do the maths on that. The boys do it for me, or we'd be parked up in the desert looking for fuel.
So obviously, you have the screen on the bike that tells you where to go because there's no markers. Have you ever got lost because you didn't read that, or are you quite good at it?
Unfortunately, I've been lost plenty of time, and to the point where I don't even know where I came from, and I've got my helmet off with my earplugs out, listening for motorbikes in the distance to try and come back to the route. So, yeah, it's like quite old school, you know. It isn't like a TomTom or a GPS. We have like a paper scroll with rally notes on, like kilometre 1 into the river in Compass Head in this, and then kilometre 3 exit the river into the dunes. So you have an odometer and sort of a description based off of kilometres. But it's quite complicated because obviously you're trying to look where you're going as fast as you can and read the road book. And it's pointless going really fast if you're going the wrong way. So it's always a bit of a fine balance.
What's been the most unfortunate thing that's happened to you at a rally?
Plenty, mate. My career has honestly been a bit of an up and downer. Trees or trophies, maybe you can say, but I'd rather it like that than a constant sort of tent, you know. Yeah, I had a couple of bad crashes in Morocco and some not very nice situations, but part of it, mate. Part of it, you know.
So when you have to refuel mid-race, that mandatory stop, is that to give that body that rest?
Honestly, it's a mandatory 20-minute stop, but you don't have much time. There's like one filling station, and normally we set off at 3-minute intervals. So maybe you'll catch a couple of minutes to the guy in front of you, or the guy behind you might catch a few minutes. And the refuel is so stressful. You're like, right, fill up the bike, clean your goggles, try and eat something, refill your camel pack, and you're on again. Like, it feels like 2 minutes. So I don't really feel like you get much rest. You know, they're normally like just a fuel truck in the middle of the desert, and then you quickly rush, and you're off again.
So if you're out front when you have a fuel stop, are you changing your goggles every fuel stop, or sometimes you just clean them?
Mostly I'll just clean them. So I'll take a spare lens, like in my rally jacket, just in case, and like I try and keep my goggles out of the way while I'm refilling, that they don't splash fuel them or anything crazy like that. But normally I'll take one set of goggles and a spare lens in my pocket, and you're not getting roosted like motocross, you know. You're normally on your own, but you get like a lot of bugs and build up and dust, but you can just clean it off and set off again.
What has been your favourite bike you've ever rode? Moto, rally, what was it?
Honestly, in my heart, I really like riding motocross, and yeah, I really like. I just got the new 2025 450, and I really like it. The KTM 450. She's got WP cone valves, and it's been sort of one of the bikes that I gelled with straight away, to be honest. So yeah, I really like it.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, legend.